What is up, gamers? Staxwell's back at it again today. Another market watch for you guys. It's been a little while since we did the last one. I think it's been about a week or so. So I want to jump back in here and give you guys all this content that we've been missing. The market's been going pretty crazy lately. Whole lot to cover, a lot to get into. So let's just jump straight into it. Last time we talked, I think Michael Hamilton was hot off his win with the Icelander deck, and all of his cards that he used in that deck, everything from Heart of Fendahl to Fendahl's Fighting Spirit, the best and the like the most high end and the most low end cards in his deck, and everything in between just went crazy. Good news for us though is that Heart of Fendahl has kind of settled a little bit. If you look at the sales history here, go back a couple weeks, you can see that one sold for $500, 450, 420, 350, 350, and the card was just going pretty crazy for a while there. So I'm glad to see it back down to the 270 range. I don't like those big barriers of entry to new decks for players, you know. I don't like a new player looking at this card and thinking, oh, I need that for Icelander. Can't play the deck without it, even though you can. But, you know, that's what people think when they see this card. So I like to see it go down a little bit. Yeah, Fendahl's Fighting Spirit, on the other hand, though, it did not go down. It has only gone a little bit terminal. If you look at the rainbow foils, the cheapest one is $6. That's unverified. The cheapest verified 670, and then it quickly jumps to $9 a copy. So, you know, for a card that was like a quarter or a dollar on release, it's pretty crazy to see it nearly hitting that $10 mark. So yeah, if you have a bunch of Uprising bulk, probably worth going through it and seeing if you have a couple of these foil. People are realizing that Kano's pretty good deck. So I have a videos just kind of going a little bit crazy. I won't say there was a buyout on it. I think a lot of the sales were very organic. I think people just kind of realized Kano's good, and they've been organically picking up their eyes one at a time. I don't think anyone's doing any schemy buyouts on this or anything like that. I think that this is an organic number, and I still think it's a fair number. As ridiculous as it looks, see, when I think about this game, I think like, what's it gonna be at in 5 or 10 years? Because I still plan on playing this game in 5 to 10 years, right? So in 5 to 10 years, when someone opens up their binder and they have that original Power Five, like those five original gem fables, Eye of Ophidia, Heart of Fendahl, um, Arknight Shard, and you know the five gems. When they open it up and they have that Thanos glove of gems right there, even if the cards aren't competitively viable in 5 to 10 years, like that would just be beautiful. It's a part of FaB history, and you know, even from a collector standpoint, I still think that this price tag is worth it in the long run. Right now, it does kind of hurt to see, particularly considering, you know, if we look back just a few weeks ago, a month ago, this card was 270. So it stings right now, but like I said, I feel like in the long run, we'll look back and laugh at how cheap this is. Black Tech Whispers and most of the other assassin cards have slowly been down ticking ever since Dynasty's release. Do I think it will keep going lower? Probably. It'll probably downtick a little bit more, but I can't see it being like super dirt cheap. I don't think it will reach like Konet peak price point of $30 or anything like that. I think it's still the best legendary pound for pound in Dynasty. Assassin's only going to keep getting support, and I think that this card will rise again one day. I don't think it's worth playing the market and seeing how low it will go before you buy it. I think this price point is fair, and I personally would pick one up if I didn't already have one. If you already have one, I don't think this is worth specking into, like just hoping it'll go up one day. I would just kind of get my copy and hang out and just see what this price does. But if you don't have a copy, I think it's fair. This Regicide promo is finally on TCG Player. It's the Blackout Regicide. This card has only gone up since it came out. I've seen them selling in the Facebook group for like $100 ish, and they have slowly ticked up ever since. This didn't have a listing on TCG Player for the longest. It just recently got one, so it doesn't have too many sales, but all the sales are over 130. So definitely a card that is holding value, definitely not losing value ever since release. It's only gone up, and you know, like I said, I'm so long term oriented in this game. Let me ask you a question. When you think of Dynasty, especially like, you know, 3 years from now, if you look back and you think of Dynasty, what are you going to think about? You know, you're not going to think about, oh, Sandsour Greatbow was a great card for Azalea, or you're not going to think of Black Tech Whispers or the Nitro Mechoid or any of the other cool, unique individual cards of the set, when you look back and think of Dynasty, you're going to think the spider killed the emperor. You're going to think the emperor died. That was Dynasty to you. That was Dynasty to me. That was Dynasty to all of us. It was such a cool, lore, fun event kind of thing that they did. And, what card comes to your mind when you think about Arachnite killing the emperor? It's Regicide, specifically the Lights Out Regicide promo. I also do think that there's a chance that this card could see some competitive viability at some point in the future. Not right now. There's just not enough cards that are royal yet, but they're not just going to forget that they ever printed that mechanic. They will make new royal heroes at some point in the future. They will continue to keep supporting Assassin. When those two things keep rising, at some point there will be a time, a niche, or maybe a meta where this card is competitively viable. So it could have some competitive viability. I would spec into it more based on the collectability of the card and how cool and neat it is from a flavor perspective. This is just, a collector's grail, right? In 5 to 10 years, this will be like it will be a grail. There's no other way to describe it. I think this will be the gem of a lot of people's collection. So I still think that this price point is fair. Tales of Adventure for everyone who attended Worlds. This was the promo card that you got for the Fabled package. It was $150 for the package, and the Tales of Adventure is now almost selling for that, which is kind of crazy to me. This card is kind of unique because a lot of the other promos that you get for entering these big tournaments are heroes or weapons like Yorick himself or the banjo that he's playing. It's a fluke, a banjo. I don't care. Let me know in the descriptions below. Flame me. I'm not a band guy. I'm gonna call it a banjo because it's funny. I know it's not a banjo, but I'm gonna call it a banjo. So yeah, the banjo or the bard themselves, you only need one of them, right? But this card, you need two of it if you want to play it, and this is the only printing of the card. They might print another version of it. I could see it, like if they do some kind of Rhinar versus Dorinthia-esque bundle box thing in the future, but regarding PvE. And I could see one of those heroes being a bard, and this just being a common in it, not full art or not foil or anything like that. Again, I think that this is a neat piece of Flesh and Blood history. I don't think it's on par with the Regicide, though. I don't think that this price point is particularly fair, especially considering you need two of them. If I only had $120, $130, and I wanted to put it into cool collectible Flesh and Blood cards, I personally would spec that into this Blackout Regicide over Tales of Adventure. I still think this is a cool card. I just don't personally think it's worth this price point. But clearly it is. Clearly it is because someone bought two of them. So to somebody it's worth this price point, just not me. Let me know in the comments below, how much do you guys like this card? How much are you looking forward to PvE? Are you guys even planning on playing it? Are you guys planning on playing Bard in PvE? Let me know. Oh, Flesh and Blood's getting bigger. It's getting a lot bigger. A lot more new players are starting to come into this game, and it's evident by the fact of the staples: Command and Conquer, Art of War, Snatch, Scar for Scar, Tunic. Everything is just going up, and that's supply and demand, right? There's only so many of these cards. There's always been this many cards, but demand just keeps rising. More and more players keep playing this game. They keep jumping in, and they know that they need these powerful staple cards to compete. So Command and Conquer, when I first made this channel just a few months ago, you guys know this channel is not that old. Command and Conquer was like $65, maybe $70. So to see it hit 100 in such a short time is kind of crazy to me. Like, the growth Flesh and Blood has is just a little bit wild. Again, I think it's worth it. This is the original print of one of the most iconic staples in the game. I still think it's worth this price point. I really do. Art of War hitting $63. Everything's just going up on the standard staple, like in the competitive CC staple section of the game. Everything's just going crazy. Art of War is no exception. I just want to bring you guys' attention to these staples just going crazy. Uprising isn't the latest, newest set. Everyone's not cracking it. Every locals, every box tournament isn't rewarding it. People aren't drafting it anymore. So, there's just less Uprising being opened. And that's kind of causing a lot of Uprising cards to just go crazy high. I remember Tiger Stripe Shuko was like $30 at its lowest point, and so now it is up to $65 cheapest. That's just for the rainbow foil. Let's check on the cold foil. If you're gonna buy it, buy the cold foil. The cold foil is not that much more expensive. But yeah, it's just good to see a lot of people jumping in this game, playing FaB, playing these competitive heroes. FaB's been competitive for a long time, but it's only just now going up. And again, that's because people aren't opening Uprising anymore. They're not drafting it anymore. They don't have that chance to pull it, so they're realizing, oh, I might as well just buy it then, you know? Sorry about that, guys. Had someone at the door. My dog went a little crazy there. But yeah, Tiger Stripe Shuko's going up. Not the only card from Uprising. Cornet Peak is as well. I remember this card went below $20 for quite some time there, $18, $19. It has since been climbing. Every card in Uprising is climbing. I'm just pulling a couple of them as an example. Even the Majestics, Dominia did not used to be $9. It used to be like a dollar, maybe two when the set drops. So even the Majestics are gaining value. If you have Uprising bulk, like I said, go ahead, take a look through it. You probably have some money in there that you didn't know about before. There are still some undervalued things in Uprising that I want to talk about. The Alt Art Rewind is one of them. I think this card is very cool, very unique, a nice little collector's piece. And, you know, when it first came out, this card was like 40, 50 bucks. So to see it drop this low, it's kind of crazy. I think it's definitely worth this price tag for sure. I might be picking up a playset of them myself. Haven't decided yet. Phoenix Flame is another one that I think is just way too cheap for how competitively viable it is and how beautiful the card looks, frankly. And since you start with it in play, like it's just, you're always going to see it, you know? So if you're looking at it all the time, you want it to be a pretty card. So definitely too cheap right here. I think this card should easily be $50. I don't understand how it's this cheap, but we might as well take advantage of it since it is. There has been somewhat of a buyout on Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. I told you guys those Everfest Majestics, just every time one of them, you know, is targeted for a buyout or becomes good, it just goes crazy in price. There's one here for $9, and after that they quickly jump up to 13. I think undervalued a little bit are the cold foils. It's only $25 for a cold foil, so it is double the price, but a non-foil or a cold foil, huge difference, particularly for collectors, particularly moving forward. You're going to regret not buying the cold foil if you're picking this card up. Just, again, another Everfest Majestic that I want to bring your guys' attention to. That's all I got for you guys today. Don't forget to like, comment, rate, subscribe, help the algorithm, help me out, and thanks for watching.